I am here to give a quick update about some financial infrastructure, everybody's favorite thing to talk about, but I think it could actually be exciting. So here we go. I work on this thing called Open Collective, which is a tool for transparent fundraising and making it easy to distribute funds to people and also hold them, kind of hold funds on behalf of projects that don't have their own legal infrastructure. So I've set up this EHF Community Collective, which some of you may have heard about, and it's a way for us to basically crowdfund or get grants or sponsorship for building up the EHF community itself. So this is intended to support the things exactly like the things that are being shared in this call, like Fraser just shared, or other initiatives like Huddles that are building up the EHF community. And so, for example, we put up this goal about funding Huddles, and it's already been met, which has been really amazing. We've had some really generous contributions already, even though this is kind of a new thing, just getting off the ground. But the cool thing about Open Collective is you can basically transparently see all the money that's come in and who's behind this thing and what it's all about. And then also, if I get down to the section, you can see the budget. So when we start, we haven't spent any of this money yet, but when we do start spending it, it will be all transparent to everyone who wants to see it. And also it just makes it really easy for us to send money out to anyone who's doing work on the community. So that's happening, and I'm really keen to talk to people who want to fundraise for things going on in the community or who are interested in giving. And I guess the why behind this, there's multiple layers. Basically, one is just to make it possible for more cool community building stuff to happen in a space that's by fellows, for fellows. It's neutral. This is not owned or run by, the EHF core, but it is, supported by, but it's run by fellows. And I think that collaborating with money and basically owning money together as a community and deploying money is an amazing way to deepen our connections as a community and form relationships, and also clarify questions like, well, what's important to us? What do we want to put our resources to? What are our strategies? What are our values? And it starts to get at really important things like sustainability. So for example, some really awesome initiatives are being put out there by fellows. And what I would hate to see is either people throwing themselves into it and eventually burning out, or those initiatives not being well enough supported to kind of reach their full potential. And I think there's also a really big inclusion piece around this, because not everybody can work for free and put all those volunteer hours in. There's a lot of people in our community who are trying to do a lot with a little. So those are all ideas around this. I've also set up other infrastructure for Aotearoa that fellows can use. So this is the Gift Collective, which is another page. Basically, it's a charitable trust umbrella entity. That means that if you want to raise money for a charitable activity, or you have money that you want to deploy in New Zealand to support any charitable purpose, but maybe that thing doesn't have its own charity registered, you can sign up with us and we'll basically be your instant legal structure registered charity, which means we can offer your donors tax credit receipts and qualify for philanthropic grants. And it has all of the transparency and all the features that I just talked about. So you could combine grants and crowdfunding and all that stuff. So this is here. We also have a really cool setup through our partner, the Gift Trust, where basically if you've got money in the US and you want to deploy it for charitable purposes in New Zealand, we can do it so you donate in the US, you get your US tax benefit, then we can bring the money over to New Zealand and you can deploy it to anything with a charitable purpose in New Zealand, even if that thing doesn't have its own charity set up, or if you want to start your own fund for a particular purpose, we can basically be the infrastructure for that. We've got some really cool groups starting up. Here are a few. They're doing things like social impact documentaries, the Matauranga Māori education, which is like traditional Māori knowledge, all this stuff. We've had a lot of interest, especially from Māori groups, which I think is really cool, because I think it's because we have a really community and collective focused way that we want to work. Yeah, so that's just a really quick update. If you're interested in either the funding for EHF community initiatives or for funding sort of infrastructure behind the scenes help with any kind of fundraising stuff, I'm here to help.